This is a demonstration about Siebel Assignment Manager for the University of Arizona Health Plans. So I'll just go through the contents. It has introduction, configure assignment objects for UHP in Siebel tools, configure assignment manager for UHP in Siebel application, pilot run assignment job within Siebel application. Finally, demonstrate assignment modernization with production data. Presently, UHP uses an old-style VB script to do activity assignments externally, which is outside Siebel. The goal of this modernization is to take advantage of the out-of-the-box functionality assignment manager provided by Siebel and replace the old VB script. Configure assignment objects for UHP in Siebel tools. In Siebel tools, configure assignment related objects such as workflow policy columns, workflow policy object, assignment object, workflow policy component, assignment attributes, and assignment criteria. Once you configure all these objects in Siebel tools, compile these configured objects against Siebel SRF file. Now configure assignment manager for UHP in Siebel application. So for that, first you have to create assignment rule group. Then the assignment rule has to be created under that rule group. Then define assignment criteria under the assignment rule. The listed are the assignment criteria: SR type, activity reference number, activity login. Then once that is done, you will have to define the skill and skill items against employee. Skills are same as assignment criteria, and skill items are values against each skill. For example, skill SR type will have skill item type provider claim dispute. Here in Siebel application, click on sitemap and navigate to administration assignment. And first we will have to create assignment rule group. So click on rule group list. You can already see that the UHP rule group is created here. This is done by just clicking this new button and create this record and define it here. And over to the next step, create assignment rule. So click on assignment rule list, and you can already see that UHP assign activity is created. This is done that by clicking this new button, and you can see that UHP rule group is selected is chosen for this assignment rule, and an activation date is populated here. So once you have done that, just click on UHP assign activity and drill down. So all these criteria under this assignment rule group are created by clicking this new button, and you can see that SR type, activity reference number, and activity login is created as criterion under this assignment rule. And you can also see that comparison method is compare object to person, which means whenever assignment manager start to process activity records, each activity record will have an SR type, activity reference number, and activity login. So assignment manager compares those activity record values against a person skill and skill item record. So once a match is found, it will assign that activity to that particular person. That is how assignment manager works. So once you have done all these setup, you go back to assignment rule list by clicking here, and then you click on this release button, which will release this rule and make it available for assignment manager to process this rule. So the next we are going to see is how this employee skill and skill items are configured. So navigate to sitemap and navigate to administration user, click on employees. So I have configured it against one employee in the skills and skill items. We'll see that employee and you can already see that the assignment skill and skill items are configured here. So against activity reference number skill, you can already see that activity reference number values are populated here. These are the skill items for this particular skill, and then click on SR type. You can see that this person deals with provider claim dispute SR type, and that is a skill item. So to the next skill of this person, activity login. So this is a UPH underscore GAC. This is the activity login that is assigned when this activity gets created. So once the activity gets created, it will have this login, and when assignment manager runs, it will assign this particular type SR type activity to this person. Pilot run assignment job within Siebel application. We are going to do a pilot run executing a batch assignment job from Siebel and see whether the activities are getting assigned by assignment manager. For this pilot run, we will first set up the data for SR types, group correction, provider update, audit execution, and telephonic enrollment. Employee logins that are shown here are set up with the skills and skill items. Navigate to the Siebel application, and then first we will see the logins, how they are set up with skills and skill items. Administration user, employees, and query for those users. So for this user, you can see the SR type is group correction, and activity reference numbers are these, and the activity logins are these. So group correction SR type with activity logins of these types, and with activity reference numbers of these types will get assigned to this user. So the second user, SR type is audit execution, activity reference numbers are these, until 810, and activity login is, and there are activity logins, UPH auditor, UPH audit manager, UPH data. The third user is set up with SR type telephonic enrollment, activity reference numbers E2 to E14, and the activity login is this one, UPHENR1. And the fourth user, SR type is provider update, activity reference numbers are these, P2, P4, P8, P10, P11, P13, P15. The activity logins, UPHHPIS, UPHDBA, UPH trainer. Okay, now we will see how the data is set up. So I'll go to service request list, and I do a query here for SR types. And we are going to put a condition in the batch job to fetch only to process only data that are created after Jan 1 2017. Activities created after Jan 1 2017. So there are like 50 records. So out of these 50, I think 40 of them are telephonic enrollment. So these activities will get assigned to the corresponding employee, skilled employee. So now we will go to the administration server management, jobs. And this is a place where we schedule the jobs. This is a place where we will schedule the batch assignment. Once everything is finalized, we will schedule a job that is repeating, and we'll have a repeating interval, and we will set other parameters that are shown here if needed. So for now, for this pilot run, I'll just copy this batch assignment job, and I'm going to adjust this parameters here. And you can already see here the job parameters is assignment object name, and the other one is object where clause, where row ID in select row ID from SCVT ACT, where EVT stats CD not equal to completed and created greater than. I'll change this date to 01, which is January 1st 2017. Okay, that looks correct. So now I'm going to run this, submit this job. So now it is changed to status queued. So from queued it will become active, and then it will become success. So once it shows success, we'll go and check the activity records. Okay, success. So now we'll go to service request list, query for the SR types that we are looking for, and then okay, Now we can see here that the assignment already happened. We'll check all the 50 records. Good, 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 good. All of them are telephonic enrollment. I want to see a different. Okay, this one. Status completed won't be assigned. So status has to be not completed. That's why they were not assigned. So, okay, this one's. Abonilis. So these ones are assigned to Abonilis. This is right assignment. So this was already assigned, I think, because this was assigned when it was created. The activity was created to this guy at the time of creation itself. So these are assigned by assignment manager. So over to the next record, and that's a group correction. So group correction, these are assigned by assignment manager. And so after examining all these, so these are audit execution, these are assigned by assignment manager. These records is Siebel log. Okay. Okay, provider update. This is assigned by assignment manager. So I'll show you by doing after examining all these 50. After this, I will show you a query, and that will show you exactly what assignment. How do we know that these? What is other way of knowing whether this is assigned by assignment manager or something else? So these are assigned by assignment manager. Okay, telephonic again. All these records are assigned correctly. Provider update records are assigned correctly. Okay, 50 completed. Now we'll do the other query. Here is a query. I'm gonna select this query and run it. Click on execute. So here are the activity records that are processed through assignment manager. There are like 238 records that assignment manager just processed through. So to identify how many records were actually assigned by assignment manager, just have to modify this query a little bit. You can already see in this result set, pay attention to the last two columns, DB last updated source and last updated, this is the date column. So wherever you see assignment manager value populated here against this record, this is assigned by the assignment manager. You can also look at this date. This is updated a couple of minutes ago by assignment manager. So among the 238 records that assignment manager processed through, it assigned, we'll just identify how many of them got assigned by assignment manager. Let's modify, the query is modified, and I just run this. So among 238 records processed, 158 records got assigned, activity records got assigned. by the assignment manager. So this concludes the pilot run. Now over to the next slide, assignment modernization with production data. We have identified 43 active employees that are currently active on assignments. We did that by running this query against current production database, and we have exported out the result set to an Excel sheet, and here is the sheet. So the first three columns, these columns has data in it. The information has been wiped out due to security reasons, and active employee column says whether the employee is active or not, and employee active from, and employee active till dates columns, service request type, specialty of that particular employee, and activity reference number. There are like 514 records in current production. Now to identify against how many employees, we need to add the skills and skill items in current production. We'll just have to click on this employee login column and remove the duplicates. Four to three unique values remain. So we will be pushing the assignment manager modernization from dev to UAT, and then a rigorous UAT will be conducted. So once everything is finalized, and when we will get a green signal to deploy the assignment manager modernization to production, this will be a deployment step for us to add the skills and skill items against 43 active employees in current production. Here concludes the assignment manager modernization demo.